In this world filled with mystery and danger, when an injured werewolf accidentally intrudes into Arianna's life, how will she face this sudden supernatural existence? As the story unfolds, will she be drawn into an adventure she never imagined? Want more werewolf stories? Subscribe to us and become a part of this mysterious world. Chapter 1: The Full Moon. Giant, raven black paws hit the leaf-covered ground, as he pushed his body faster and faster through the trees, ignoring the pain. It was midnight, the full moon casting an eerie glow, as the hunter's cries echoed through his mind. He growled softly, whimpering in pain, as his lower body slams into a tree as the gunshot rings out in the dead silent night. Pushing himself faster, harder through the unknown terrain, he ignores the blackness edging at his vision. He heard their shouts, knew they were getting closer and closer as he slowed from the blood loss, even as he edged closer to the end of the tree line. Using his last bit of energy, the air around him shimmered, as his body shifted, bones cracking into their different forms. Stumbling, he braced his arm on the tree, shaking his head to ease the dizziness, pushing himself into the brush as the hunters ran past, oblivious to his presence. Moving slowly, silently, he approached the tree line, watching, listening for any signs of danger. When he was sure the hunters were gone, he stumbled out of the forest, bracing himself on his forearms when he fell, moving towards the lights he could see, not knowing how far away they really were. In his weakened state, he barely made it to the bottom steps of the porch of the house in front of him, a house he'd never known existed until now. He fell to his knees at the edge of the first step, pulling himself up with his arms, crawling to the top, the blackness edging farther and farther into his vision. Crawling on his hands and knees to the door, he could feel the extent of the damage the hunters had caused, could feel the effects of the drugs wearing off, ever so slowly. He knocked once, lightly, on the door, his arms not being able to bear his weight anymore. He laid his head down on the wood porch, closing his eyes to the irresistible call of the dark. Arianna. You'll never believe what I just heard. Nessa yells in my ear, sloshing her drink onto the floor of the kitchen, as she shook from excitement. At least I hope it's excitement she's shaking from, maybe she's just had one too many drinks. Guess? Go ahead, I dare you. I sigh, pushing her back away from me, rolling my eyes at her giddiness. Trevor wants to take me to the fall dance. She gasped, nodding her head wildly, her blonde curls bouncing up and down with her head. How'd you know? I had to practically sit in his lap to get him to tell me. She whines, pouting her lower lip at me, a look that has every guy in the room watching her with hungry eyes. Tanya told me, you know she doesn't know how to keep a secret. I lie, not wanting to tell that he'd already asked, that I'd already said no. If she knew I said no to Trevor, she'd never leave me alone until I told her why, and I can't tell her why because I don't know. Oh, yeah, you're right. I wish we had the typical high school Barbie that was a bitch to anyone, instead of Tanya. She whines again, gripping my arm tightly when I go to move away. Maybe I should rethink my no-drinking promise to my dad. It would sure take some of the squeal out of Nessa's voice if I were drunk. Hey girlies, how are we this fine evening? Eva asks, wrapping her arms around Nessa and I, rolling her eyes at me when Nessa starts giggling uncontrollably. Honey bunch, how much have you had to drink? Nessa frowns. Dunno, some dude handed me a cup as soon as I walked in the door, and it was uphill from there. She giggles, again, falling backwards into the counter, before sliding down to the floor, passing out. I groan out loud, knowing who was handing out drinks at the door, and knowing I wouldn't get out of tonight without his nagging, unless. Hey, Eva, could you do me a huge favor? Her eyes narrow and she stomps her foot. Get rid of Duncan before he makes his way back here. You know this is your party, right? You could mingle a little, get a little action tonight. She waggles her eyebrows at me. I snort. Right, you know I'm gonna have to call a cab for everyone here. How the hell am I gonna manage to get any before Dad gets home? Good point. Oh well, I guess that just means I'll have to get some for you. I wonder if Dean digs redheads. She saunters off, flirting with several guys as she passes them. I sigh, rubbing my forehead as I look out the window above the kitchen sink, staring at the full moon. What's with people and the full moon? I don't see how it's different from any other night, but people always act crazier when there's a full moon. Not that that says anything about the people around here, they don't need the full moon to be considered insane. But it's so pretty, so magical looking, and it makes me wanna act as crazy as the people in my living room are, but I don't. Dad only agreed to let me have a party because it's my birthday. He'd kill me if I got drunk or acted like one of the town sluts. I'd be locked in my room till I left for college, with no visitation hours. Ari. You okay, Squirt? You're looking very deep in thought, it's kinda scary. I stick my tongue out at him, causing him to chuckle as he pulls me in for a hug. Happy birthday, Squirt. Thanks, Sean, but you didn't have to fly all the way down here just for my birthday. I bet Tessa's worried sick. I breathe in his scent, snuggling closer to his natural warmth, not wanting to let him go. Tessa's fine, she wanted to come too, but the doc's got her on bed rest. He grins at me, pulling away and handing me a small, black box with a bright blue bow on the top. Presents, this is our tradition, one of us goes to see the other on their birthday, and we bring one gift. My brother's a cheap ass. What is it? Condoms. You know Dad grounded me when he found those in my bathroom. I couldn't leave the house for a week. He chuckles and nudges me to open the box. I pull the bow off the lid and stare at what's inside, pushing away the tears. You like it? I know how you wear Mom's charm bracelet all the time, and you don't have many charms for it, so I figured I'd get you one that'd remind you of Mom. I grin up at him, holding out my wrist and the small silver charm. A ballerina. Mom was a ballerina before the crash. Sean knew I'd always wanted to be a dancer too, but I'd never had the coordination for it. I love it, thank you. It's real silver, isn't it, Sean? This must have cost a fortune. I don't know how much charms are worth, or if they are made of real silver, or whatever, so this is probably wrong. Nah, I figured I'd get you something you'd really love, so you wouldn't call me a cheap ass again. He looks at his watch, grimaces and gives me a hug, again. Damn it, I gotta go. I got work in the morning, and with Tessa on bed rest I gotta get Bradley from school. Happy birthday, Squirt, love you. He hollers, working his way back through the crowd and out the door before I can yell back at him. This is our tradition, as sucky as it is, it's all either of us have time for. One night a year, for a couple of hours if we are lucky, a little bit we visit each other. I hate it, but it's all Dad will allow. Hey Anna. We are gonna go, thanks for the booze. A couple yells from the door, leading the others out, with similar calls. No one says happy birthday, no one knows it's my birthday, no one cares that it's my birthday, and this is the way I want it. I don't bother calling a cab for people like I told Eva I was gonna do. It's not gonna be my fault if the drunks crash, they should know better by now. Instead, I stare out the kitchen window at the moon, my hands itching to draw it. I'm not a good artist, but that doesn't stop me from drawing, even when everyone tells me I should. Ari. You all right, girly? I nod, watching Eva and her date carry Nessa out of the house, not saying goodbye when they leave. Eva knows today was my birthday, and she knows how much I hate it, so she says nothing about it. Once everyone is gone, I start cleaning in the living room, with the music blaring as loud as it will go, not caring if I bother anyone. Which there's never anyone out here to bother, so why should I care? Beer cans, cups, papers, anything you would think to find at a high school party is strung all over the living room floor. Normally I'd leave it till tomorrow morning, but Dad said he'll be back at noon, and if he doesn't get his lunch I won't get my present, and I want my present. As I'm throwing the beer cans into a trash bag, Charlie, my German shepherd, comes barreling down the stairs, barking, running straight the kitchen door. I frown, dropping the bag as I walk to the kitchen to see her clawing at the door, whining, trying to get out. "What's wrong, Charlie? You gotta go outside, girl." I unlock the door, opening it slightly, but she doesn't move, only growls loudly, her upper lip curling back over her teeth. "Charlie! What's out there, girl?" I push the door open wider, ignoring the nagging in the back of my mind and stare at the sight before me. Charlie backs up, pushing me with her, growling, snarling at the man-boy whoever that's laying on the porch but naked. There are scratches all down his back and legs, a large puddle of blood pooling from his side, and it doesn't look like he's breathing. What the hell? "Charlie, move, I gotta make sure he's still breathing." She doesn't move, whining at me when I walk around her and kneel down beside the guy, checking his pulse. It's there, but hardly. What the hell do I do? Chapter 2 Xavier. What color would his eyes be if they were open? Dear Lord, the poor guy has been passed out for 3 hours and I'm sitting here wondering what color his eyes are. What's wrong with me? Well, I guess at least this way my eyes aren't wandering south anymore. Ugh, I'm such a pervert. Maybe I should have taken Eva's advice and gotten some when I had the chance. Oh well, too late to worry about that now. What I should be worrying about is what I'm going to tell my father when he comes home and finds a naked man in my bed. And let me tell you, it was not easy getting his ass up here, either. First off, it's like this guy is rock solid and weighs just as much. And second, Charlie kept growing at him, trying to bite him whenever she could get close enough without me in the way. For some reason my dog does not like anything with a dick, and where she got that from I have no idea. Besides, it's not like he's actually done anything that could have her reacting this way. I've never seen this guy before in my life, and I think I would have remembered him if I had. What am I gonna do when Dad gets home, girl? Charlie lifts her head off of the armrest of the chair she's laying in and whines at me, eyes darting, nervously, back to the limp body in my bed. Charlie, he's unconscious, he's harmless. I hope. I'd managed to clean most of the cuts on his arms and legs, but the slashes on his back and the bullet hole in his chest look like they need real medical attention. I should just call the hospital and let the EMTs deal with this, but something's telling me not to involve them, and it's freaking me out. What if this guy dies because I didn't call someone who actually knew what they were doing? I'd never be able to live with the guilt, and my dad would just add that up to something else I've failed at. Charlie, what am I going to do? How sad is it that I'm talking to my dog? But she's the only one I can talk to. I don't want to involve one of the girls. What if this guy's is in serious trouble? I can't call one of them and have them come over only to find out this guy is a murderer or something. But, damn, I don't know what to do. He groans in pain, body stretching, wincing at the pain of the movement, and the room falls back into silence. The only sound is his ragged breathing. Charlie growls lowly and hops off the chair, pacing closer to the bed, baring her teeth at his unconscious form. He groans again and she tenses, crouching like she's ready to pounce on him as soon as he moves again. Charlie, what's wrong with you? Come on, out you go. I grab her collar and pull her towards my bedroom door, shutting the door, quickly, in her face before she can get back into the room. She barks, growls and scratches at the door, stopping when the guy groans again. Biting my bottom lip, I walk back over to the bed, pressing my palm against his forehead to see if his fever was gone. It's not, and the ice in the bucket of water I brought up after I managed to get him into the bed has melted. Wringing out the washcloth, I lay it on his forehead, scowling down at him. I wish you'd wake up and tell me what the hell happened to you. I cleaned you up all I could, but those gashes on your back are gonna need stitches. And I do not do stitches. No way, no how, not for anyone. A little growl slips past his lips when I drag the rag down his chest, and I freeze when his hand grabs mine, stopping it from moving any lower on his stomach. When I try to pull my hand back, his grip tightens, making me swallow and peek up at his face through my hair to see bright blue eyes staring back at me. He frowns up at me, confusion settling in his eyes when he looks around the room, never once letting go of my hand. I clear my throat. How are you feeling? God, this is awkward. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, how I'm supposed to act. Hell, I think I was better off when he was unconscious. At least then I didn't have worry about him watching me, because it's starting to make me nervous, and I never get nervous. He just blinks back at me, tugging on my hand, moving it slowly back up his torso to his cheek. Butterflies erupt in my stomach, as the heat fills my cheeks and sparks of electricity shoot up my arm. Why do I have to attracted to the guy I found unconscious on the back porch of my house? Why couldn't I be attracted to a guy I know, one I don't have to worry about being a psychotic killer? What's your name? I tug my hand out of his grasp, leaving the wash rag laying on his cheek and look around the room, not daring to look him in the eye. Looking him in the eye makes me feel funny, and I don't like that I like it. I do not know. My eyes shoot to his when he speaks, going wide at the utter frustration and confusion in their blue depths. They are almost like swimming in the ocean, like no matter how hard you fight the tide keeps pulling you deeper and deeper. And I am definitely being pulled deeper and deeper. You don't know. Do you remember how you ended up on my back porch? Charlie barks on the other side of the door, drawing his attention, and he growls loudly back at her. Why would he be growling at her? He's not an animal, but that sound coming from deep within his chest sure as hell sounds animalistic. Hey, do you remember what happened to you? He frowns at me, brow crinkling in confusion. They attacked our village, they killed everyone, I was the only one to escape. What? Who attacked your village? What he was saying made no sense, and the longer he was quiet the more curious I became. It was killing me to not know what had happened to him, only because of how broken he looked. The hunters, he whispers, looking up at me as if only just realizing I was there, and grimaces. The hunters? What did he mean, the hunters? What do you mean? What hunters? None of it made sense to me, and from the look on his face it made no sense to him either. But it only left me wondering just how hurt he really is. If he's seriously hurt, then he needs to go to the hospital. Look, I cleaned your wounds as much as I could, but you need stitches, you need to go to the hospital. No? He shouts the word at me, making me jump back from the bed in shock as Charlie starts growling loudly, again. No hospital, please. I will be fine, I do not need to go to a hospital. I thank you for tending to my wounds, but I must go now. Before they find me. Before who finds him? You can't go anywhere. I barely managed to get your back and chest to stop bleeding. If you move around too much you'll start bleeding again. You're lucky you didn't bleed to death on the porch before I found you. Or before Charlie found him, however you want to look at it. Either way he couldn't leave, at least not until I knew for sure he wouldn't bleed to death trying. You do not understand, if I stay here they will find me. They will kill you for helping me. I will not be responsible for another's death. I frown at him in confusion as he moves to try and sit up in the bed, hissing out a breath in pain when he twists. Don't move, all right, just lay back down before you hurt herself. I press lightly on his shoulders, pushing him back into the bed, ignoring the way he looks at me. You do not know what I am, otherwise you would not be so calm around me. His hand reaches up and brushes the hair back from my face, his eyes searching mine for a long moment before I look away and stand. What is your name? I asked you first. Something tells me that he just doesn't want to tell me his name, not that he doesn't remember, and it annoys me. I should be downstairs cleaning up the mess that was made, but instead I'm taking care of this guy and he can't even tell me his name. My name is Xavier, now what is your name? Xavier, somehow it fits him and I don't know where that thought came from. Arianna, now are you gonna stay in the bed, or do I have to stay up here and babysit you? I really need to clean the downstairs before Dad gets home. If he finds a mess he's going to kill me, and I'd like to live to see my 19th birthday. I will stay put, for now. You have something to do? He asks, tilting his head to the side, looking totally adorable. No, he doesn't look adorable, he looks ugly, hideous, disgusting, anything but adorable. But, oh, I love guys with blonde hair and blue eyes, especially ones that manage to make it look dangerous, and he looks plain deadly despite how damaged I know he is. Yeah, I have to clean the house before my dad gets home. If you need anything just holler, the floors are pretty thin so I should be able to hear you. Why do I hate the thought of leaving him alone? It almost makes me sad to leave him, and I should not be feeling sad. It's because he's hurt, that's all. Very well, I will holler if I need anything. Thank you for your hospitality. I nod and walk out of the room, shutting the door behind me so Charlie can't get back into the room. There's something off about that guy, I just don't know what it is yet. I'll figure it out sooner or later, one way or the other. Before he leaves I'm going to find out why he gives me the chills. And I don't mean in a bad way. Once I get back downstairs I pick back up where I left off, picking up all the random trash that was left strung about my house, my so-called friends. Usually when I clean I have the stereo on as loud as it'll go, but if I had it on I wouldn't be able to hear if Xavier hollers for me, which I highly doubt he'll do. I think he'd rather kill himself getting something without my help than ask me to get it for him, which is an annoying trait he and my brother share. A half an hour later the living room is spotless and I'm dead on my feet, wondering where I'm going to be sleeping tonight when the doorbell rings. Peeking a glance at the clock on the TV I see that it's 5:30 in the morning. Why would someone be showing up now? Oh, maybe it's Dad and he forgot his keys. It wouldn't be the first time he's done it. When I open the door I just stare at the men in front of me. Dressed in all black they look like they've had one hell of a night, and don't really have the patience to be standing there waiting for me to speak. Can I help you? The biggest one of the 6 guys smiles kindly at me. Yes. Actually, have you by any chance seen a blonde man about my height come by here? He keeps the gentle smile on his face, and if it weren't for the malicious intent in his eyes I might have bought the gesture. No, I'm sorry I haven't. Might I ask why, though? Were they looking for Xavier? Were these the hunters he said attacked his village? Are you sure, miss? You seem like a nice girl. I'd hate for you to be covering for this man. He can be very dangerous. You see, we were taking him in to be taken care of when he escaped. There's no telling what he would do to evade capture. Taken care of. Did this guy think I was stupid or something? I'm very sure, sir, I haven't seen anyone. Not that I would tell him any different anyway, but my gut is telling me that he's not buying it. One of the men beside him leers down at me. Why don't you let us come in and see for ourselves, eh? We've had a long night. It would be so kind of you to let us rest, and I'm sure we could find some way to repay you. A slow smirk fills his face as he steps forward and I step back. Take another step, and I'm going to make it very difficult for you to reproduce. I'm sure the world would thank me for it too. I smile sweetly at him, making him glare dangerously down at me. That's enough, Darren. She obviously hasn't seen him. She would have told us if she had, wouldn't you, dear? The big one smiles at me again, and I feel like slapping him. Of course, now if you'll excuse me, it's late and I have school tomorrow. I shut the door in their faces, locking it before I run hurriedly up the stairs and into my room, leaning heavily against the door. Is everything all right, Arianna? His voice is like dark velvet, making my toes curl in my shoes, and I love the way he says my name, which is a very bad thing. Everything's fine. There were just a couple of guys downstairs wondering if I had seen a blonde guy about your height or not. His eyes widen and grow dangerously dark as he looks me up and down in concern. Are you all right? Did they harm you? He seemed sincerely worried, and that didn't make sense to me. I don't know him, he doesn't know me, I'm just the girl that helped him. Why would he be worried about me? I'm fine, just really freaked out. You don't need anything to drink or anything, do you? He shakes his head no, and I sigh in relief, because I really didn't want to have to go back down there by myself. Good, 'cause I'm beat and I just wanna go to bed. And I can't go to bed because he's in my bed. Terrific. Where am I supposed to sleep now? Chapter 3 Happy Birthday. Warm and cuddly. You know, I don't remember Charlie ever being this warm or cuddly. Actually, the last time I tried to cuddle with her, she smelled so badly that I ended up bathing her 4 different times the next day, and in the end I was the only one that ended up smelling like dog shampoo. But that wasn't my point. My point was that. Wait, I think I forgot. A rumbled sound of contentment, that almost sounds like a purr, sounds in my ear, making the bed vibrate as I snuggle closer to the warm, non-furry body next to mine. I sigh happily when an arm wraps around my shoulders, tugging me closer, as another purr-like sound reaches my ears. It's funny, because Charlie doesn't really like cuddling with me, and I don't remember her ever smelling this good. Not even when I accidentally spilled a whole bottle of perfume on her. But this scent is woodsy, like the forest before a storm, and entirely masculine. A loud bark sounds from some far corner of my room as a car passes by, the loud rumbling of the engine making it very hard for me to slip back into my sleep. Charlie barks again, and I groan when the arm around my shoulder slips down to my waist, letting the cold air sting my bare skin. Charlie, shut the hell up. I shiver and scoot closer to the warmth beside me, freezing when a sudden thought occurs to me. If Charlie is across the room, then who am I cuddling with? Hesitantly, I open my eyes and stare in shock up at Xavier's sleeping face. This is so not where I fell asleep at last night. But damn, if he doesn't look cute. Slowly, holding my breath, I push myself away from his body, breathing out roughly when his grip tightens on my waist. Swallowing tightly, I pull his arm away from me, eyes wandering when the blankets ease down his chest. Damn it, I need to stop looking at him when he's asleep. At least when he's awake I don't have the guts to ogle him. He shifts in his sleep, inadvertently pulling the blankets farther down his chest, revealing smooth, toned muscle with barely a scar from the bullet wound that had been there last night. What the hell? Glancing up at his face, I lean closer to his chest, tracing the round, barely there, little scar, wondering where the hell all the little scratches that were there last night went to. There's no way they could have healed so fast, could they? I mean, there should still be scratches, at least little scabs, shouldn't there? How the hell? He shouldn't have recovered that fast. When I found him he was close to bleeding to death, and now there's not even a mark when his minor wounds were. Someone doesn't heal from the damage he'd suffered overnight, it's just no possible. I heal abnormally fast. He murmurs, voice still husky from sleep, and I freeze. A little shriek escapes my mouth as I stumble backwards from the bed. Charlie yelps when I trip on her and runs quickly towards the door, making me fall flat on my bottom, staring in shock as Xavier is suddenly crouched beside me, no sign of pain of any kind in his expression. I am so sorry, I did not mean to startle you. Are you all right? Me? He's the one that couldn't take a breath last night without wincing, and now he's suddenly healed and asking if I'm all right. I am fine, but how did you heal so fast? I mean, there's no way you could have. There's not even a scar. My eyes wander all over his chest, looking for any sign, other than the tiny scar, that he had been hurt, and find none. It's like he was never hurt in the first place, like I imagined it all. I hadn't imagined it all, had I? As I said, I heal abnormally fast. You could say it runs in my family. He gives a small smile, but his expression he's still worried as his eyes look me up and down, making my heart flutter in my chest. Damn, that is so not a good thing. You think? Dude, you needed to go to the hospital, and now it's like you were never even hurt. How is that possible? His expression is guarded when I look up at his face again, and he refuses to meet my eye. You should get dressed before your father arrives. I will be leaving as soon as I am fully healed and able to contact my guard. Okay, and I'm going to pretend like I know what the hell he's talking about. Wait, how did you know my dad's coming home today? I hadn't told him that, had I? I'm pretty sure I never said anything about my dad, but hell, after staring into his eyes for a couple of minutes I'd forget my own name, so who knows? His lips quirk up at the sides, drawing my gaze and making it very hard to look away. Oh hell. You talk in your sleep. He grips my arm gently, pulling me to my feet before walking back to the bed, being careful to give Charlie her personal space when she growls at him. Hey, where did you get the pajama bottoms? They look like my dad's, but that would mean he'd walked downstairs and got them while I was sleeping. And how the hell did I end up in the bed, when I'm absolutely certain that I went to sleep on the floor? He frowns, looking from the pants and back to me, a light flush filling his cheeks, and I swear I almost swooned at the sight. Almost. You do not mind, do you? I did not think it was appropriate for us to be sleeping in the same bed while I was indisposed. I blink back at him in shock. Did he seriously just say that? Any other guy would have taken advantage of the situation, hell, any other guy would have left me on the floor, but he thought it was inappropriate. Why couldn't I have met him under normal circumstances? Let me get this straight, you went downstairs, got a pair of my dad's pajamas bottoms and put me in the bed. So weird and so sweet. He nods slowly. Yes, you could not have been comfortable on the floor. Is that all right? He stares at me worriedly, frowning when I don't answer right away. I am sorry if I upset you, I meant to sleep on the floor, but your dog would not stop growling at me and… It's fine, really. I just thanks. He nods, looking away from me, and I groan internally at the tension suddenly filling the air. I need to shower, so will you be all right? He smiles gratefully at me. Yes, of course, I am a big boy, you know. Yeah, I know, but I doubt that is what he's talking about. Damn it, I cannot be attracted to him, I just can't. Nodding quickly, I half run into the bathroom, leaning heavily on the door once it's shut. I am not attracted to him, I've just got a bug or something that's making me think crazy things, that's all. Unfortunately for me, I don't realize that I forgot to bring clothes into the bathroom with me until after I've already showered. I'm shivering from the cold, and I really don't want to ask Xavier to leave the room just so I can get my clothes. I think I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that he's almost completely healed. No one should be able to heal that fast. Wrapping a bath towel around myself, I open the bathroom door just a crack and peek out. Ugh, why did the one time I forget to bring clothes with me into the bathroom have to be today? Couldn't it have waited until Xavier was gone? Arianna, is everything all right? Damn him for sounding concerned. Couldn't he just ignore me like a normal person? No, not really. I kinda forgot my clothes, so do you think you could close your eyes? Or I could just ask him to hand me some clothes, but the thought of him rummaging through my underwear drawer is just embarrassing. Oh, are you sure? Would it be better if I waited in another room? Yes, maybe then my stomach wouldn't feel like there's butterflies living in it, but Dad's due home any time now, and I'm not so sure how he'll react if he finds Xavier in the house. It's more than likely that he'll lock me in my room until I leave for college next year, but hey, I'd rather not find out. No, just don't. Look. What the hell is my problem? I've changed in front of Trevor and Duncan plenty of times, and now I'm suddenly self-conscious. It makes no sense. Very well, I will not look. I frown at the quiver in his voice. It almost sounds like he's struggling to not laugh, and something tells me he's laughing at me. Which just plain pisses me off, because it's all his fault. Stupid boy, with his stupid blue eyes and his stupid hot body making my hormones act. Stupid. I swallow and push the bathroom door open, watching him cautiously as I walk across the room to my closet. Sitting on my bed bare-chested, he looks like he belongs there, like he was the one thing my tiny room was missing, and that's a very scary thought. Are you going to stand and stare at me all day or get dressed? His voice snaps me out of my very dirty fantasy and back to reality as his lips quirk in a half smile. And it's a damn good thing his eyes are closed, otherwise he'd know I was blushing. I walk into the closet quickly, silently thanking Tessa for insisting that I take the only room with a walk-in closet. Of course, when she'd said it, she'd been thinking about hiding her wedding dress so Sean wouldn't decide to get nosy. While I'm changing, the sound of a car motor gets closer and closer to the house before it cuts off, almost sounding like it stopped right in front of the house. But that would mean. The front door slams and Dad's voice echoes throughout the house, "Arianna. Are you up yet?" His footsteps sound on the stairs, the loud thump of his every step getting louder as he gets closer to my room. Damn. Arianna hun, it's noon, were you planning on sleeping all day? I rush out of the closet, stopping at the sight in front of me. Empty, my entire bedroom is empty of life, except for Charlie. Where the hell did Xavier go? Xavier. I hiss his name out on a whisper, frantically searching the room and coming up with nothing. Not even in the little drawer in my dresser. Where could he have gone? Arianna. The door handle turns as if in slow motion, as Dad opens my door, frowning when he sees me looking under my bed. Lose something, hun? Yeah, my toothbrush. My toothbrush? What the hell kind of answer is that? His frown deepens and I force a sheepish smile, laughing nervously. Did you check the medicine cabinet in the bathroom? That's where you usually keep it, right? Yeah, right. I didn't look there, just one of those, you know. He nods slowly, but I doubt he agrees. My dad and I rarely ever agree on anything, and I'd like to keep it that way. So, how was your trip? Good, same as usual, a ton of meetings and barely any sleep. How was your party? Boring, but then I found a naked man bleeding to death on the back porch, so I brought him up here to help him, and now he's all healed, but I seem to have lost him. So if you find a strange man somewhere in the house wearing your pajamas, don't worry. Yeah, he'd kill me for sure if I told him that. It was all right, same as usual. He nods again, and I resist the urge to roll my eyes. I love my dad, I really do, but the man has no social skills whatsoever. That and this is the longer conversation we've had since the day I hit puberty. Right, well, I've got to unpack, and your present is outside, keys in the kitchen. Happy birthday. With that he shuts the door and walks back down the stairs, probably to hide in his library from me for the rest of the day. At least this time he waited until after my birthday to give me the keys, right Charlie? She just blinks at me and I sigh, peeking back under my bed to make sure Xavier wasn't there. Every year for my birthday, my dad goes on a business trip, and to make up for it, every year since I turned 16, I got a new car for my present, sometimes weeks in advance. Your father is not a very talkative man, is he? I jump at the sound of his voice, squealing in shock when I see he's sitting on the edge of my bed, a thoughtful expression on his face. Was today your birthday? Dad's been quiet ever since I can remember, and yesterday was my 18th birthday. Why I felt the need to make sure he knew I was 18 I will never know. Where did you go? So I ruined your party then, I apologize. The guilty look on his face has my insides clenching, which is really weird because they only do that when I eat too much. No, you didn't ruin my party, besides it wasn't that much fun anyway. Parties aren't my thing, I'd so much rather go out and TP my biology teacher's house, but Nessa and Eva insisted and I'm a sucker for their puppy dog looks. Well then, I wish you a happy birthday, Arianna. He gives me a full-blown smile, showing off pearly white teeth, and my heart skips a beat. Perfect, Just freaking perfect. And the butthead hasn't answered my question, either. Chapter 4 Personal. Where is your mother? His question has me pausing to scowl at him over my shoulder, standing at the foot of the stairs listening for any sign of my dad. Hadn't I told him to keep quiet? I thought I had. Would you keep quiet? If my dad finds out you were in my room all night, he'd ground me till the day I die. And then I wouldn't get to drive my new baby, and that would make me very upset. And you didn't answer my question earlier, so why should I answer yours? You know, it actually hurt my feelings that he hadn't told me where he'd hidden, and that just plain bothers me. I don't know him, he doesn't know me, and the sooner I get away from him the sooner I can stop thinking about how good it felt to wake up in his arms. And you are avoiding my question. Asshole. Why can't he just answer the question? It's not like it's a hard one to answer, and why the hell does it bother me so much that he won't? My mom died when I was 1. She died on my first birthday actually, but it's not like he needs to know that, it's personal. Xavier stays quiet behind me, slowly following as I walk out the front door, praying Dad decides to stay locked in his office, or wherever he's decided to hide at. Come on, the quicker you get out of here the quicker I can pretend like you were never here. I say the words as soon as we are out the front door and walking down the steps, but when I look at his face I wish I had kept my mouth shut. His eyes tighten, lips compressing into a straight line, and I curse myself for causing the hurt in his expression. But why should it matter? He's as eager to leave as I am to have him gone, right? So what's the big deal? Yes, the sooner I am gone the sooner you can get back to your life. He says the words almost harshly, bitterness lingering in his eyes. The pain on his face has my heart aching and I don't even know why. What about you? He's got a life to get back to, right? Hell, he's probably got a girlfriend or someone to get back to, so why is he acting so weird? When the village was attacked, everyone I cared for was murdered. I am afraid I do not have much to get back to. He nods casually at me and starts walking down the drive like he'd just said meant nothing. Damn it, leave it to me to act like a bitch. He'd told me last night that everyone in his village was dead, and I just went and rubbed salt in his wounds. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry. I follow him down the drive to my new car, hating myself for my own stupidity. You know, you could stay here for a while, until you figure out where you're going to go. Hell, if he takes me up on that offer, how am I going to hide him from my dad? He tilts his head up towards the sky, leaning back against my new Mercedes. Your father would not mind my staying. I do not wish to cause you trouble. Ugh, why does he have to sound like that when I was just so rude? And he so should not be able to make my new car look like a piece of junk, it should be illegal or something. No, Dad won't mind. Yeah, so long as he doesn't find out he's here. Xavier just stares at me disbelievingly until I look away. Dad and I might not have the best relationship right now, but there's no way in hell he'd ever allow Xavier to stay here. He won't even let Trevor or Duncan spend the night. Why would he let some stranger stay? Are you sure? If I were to go and ask your father if I could stay another night, he would not mind. He quirks an eyebrow at my silence, tilting his head to the side when I continue to stare at him. But it's just so hard to look away. It's like there's some kind of magical pull drawing me to him, and I don't know whether I like it or not. My nose wrinkles and he smiles faintly. No, he'd probably maim you if you did. But that doesn't mean I want him to leave, which, by the way, is completely confusing. It would be best for everyone if I were to leave now, before they find out you lied for me. He pushes himself off my car and continues on down the drive, back stiff with every step. So that's it. He's just going to leave without telling me what the hell happened to him or anything. I don't even get a goodbye. It'd be best if I just let him waltz right out of my life, wouldn't it? We don't even know each other, and I'm pretty sure that I don't really want to know whatever he's involved in, but I don't want to see him leave. He's got nowhere to go, and even though I know better, he's spiked my curiosity. I want to know why those men were looking for him. I want to know why they killed everyone he cared about, and I want to know why it matters so damn much to me. He's got my attention in a way no one ever has, and it's weird, but I like how different he seems. And even though I know I'll probably regret it later, I can't just let him leave knowing he's got nowhere to go. Wait, where are you going? I jog after him, barely managing to keep up with his pace as he turns onto the road. I have friends, as you would call them, in the area that will permit me to stay with them for a little while. I will stay there until I have figured out what to do with the situation. Carefully bland, his voice is cool, the words obviously having been thought hour before he'd said them, but why? What is he trying to hide? Do you think that's a good idea? Those guys last night seemed pretty intent on finding you. And the thought of him getting hurt again leaves me sick inside. Just because he healed so fast last night doesn't mean he's immortal. What if he's hurt again, and no one's around to help him? It would be better than putting you and your father in more danger than I already have. He stops walking and just stares at me, making my heart rate increase and my stomach flutter. Arianna, I thank you for your help, but I do not wish to drag you into this anymore that I have. It is my problem, not yours. If I stay here, I would be putting your life in more danger, and that I cannot have. What makes you think I'm not already in danger? It's pathetic, really, how desperate I am for him to stay. It's almost scary that I want him around so badly. But really, if I were in danger because of him, what good would it do to have him around? If you were in serious danger, they would be in the area, watching the house. He says the sentence like a question, frowning to himself. Damn it, even that makes him look hot. What the hell is wrong with me? How do you know they are not? Whoever they might be. You know, being kept in the dark about this shit isn't all it's cracked up to be. I can sense no danger to you or your father nearby. Okay, I'm starting to think this guy just might have gotten off the crazy train at the wrong stop. He smiles kindly at something over my shoulder, lifting one hand in a small wave. Good day, sir, how are you? Oh God, of course I couldn't get lucky enough for my dad to not come outside. I should have known better than to think I could. I turned to face him slowly, trying to gauge him blank expression. Hi Dad, what's up? Rule number 1 when dealing with my dad: act natural. Show no sign of being nervous, and he goes away without questions. Show any sign of being uncomfortable, under his scrutiny, and you're done for. Hi honey, who's your friend? I wince at the sweet, innocent tone of voice he uses. Sweet and my dad mix about as good as oil and water. Bad things happen when my dad tries to act sweet and innocent with any boy he sees me with, and I have a bad feeling Xavier's about learn that firsthand. Xavier Reese, sir, it is good to meet you. Xavier holds his hand out for my dad to shake, only to drop it when he just stares at him. Did I mention my dad doesn't like to touch anyone unless he absolutely has to? You want to tell me why were you in my daughter's room? How the hell did he even know? His hands go to his hips as his eyes narrow dangerously and I gulp. The last time my dad met one of the guys he thought I was dating, it was Duncan, and I'm pretty sure the D-man pissed his pants at one point. Our dad Xavier was. He was at the party last night, and his ride left without him, so I suggested he just crash in my room for the night. I didn't think you'd mind. No, I need he would mind, that's why I was trying to sneak him out of the house without getting caught. Obviously my plan failed. And he's wearing my clothes because... Shit, I forgot about giving Xavier some of Dad's clothes to wear, but hell, what would he have thought if Xavier had been buck naked? Be because his were ruined. He scowls at me, slowly, shaking his head. Maybe I should have actually thought up an excuse for why he was here instead of thinking I could sneak him out unnoticed. To the house, he points a finger towards the house, frowning down at me when I hesitate. If we go to the house, he's going to send me to my room, so he can talk to Xavier. Now, my dad isn't the most intimidating guy in the world, but once they see just how many guns he has around the house, any guy I bring around tends to get nervous. I wonder, though, if Xavier could be intimidated as easily as Duncan and Trevor. Daddy, I follow him back to the house, swallowing at how close Xavier is. Goosebumps rise on my arms, his scent starts, making my head spin, and I'm pretty sure the sudden shivers racing up my spine aren't out of fear. Nothing happened, Xavier is just a friend. Please be nice. Dad frowns at me, closing the door behind us as we walk into the house. I'm always nice my foot, he doesn't know what the meaning of nice is. You either answer his questions to his liking, or he threatens to use you as a target for his newest gun. Yeah, my dad is as nice as they come. Now Xavier, what are your intentions where my daughter is concerned? Oh, someone kill me now. My eyes go wide when he asks the question, and Xavier chuckles at the apologetic look I shoot him. You do know she's only 18, right? Yes, sir, and I have no intentions of ever harming your daughter in any way. If I have my way, she will never be hurt. Okay, I shouldn't like the sound of that. I know what he really means by it, but I can't stop the happiness from bubbling inside of me as he says that. Oh baby, I am so screwed, and not in a good way. Good, no, you gonna tell me why you really spent the night here last night? This is a small town, son, and I know you don't go to the public high school, or the local college. What the hell, why does he have to be so nosy? Why can't he just ground me and get it over with? No sir, I do not. I went to school on the reservation. Your daughter was nice enough to allow me to stay the night here after my home was destroyed. Oh no, no, please tell me he didn't just say what I think he said. Is that so? Arianna, can I talk to you in the kitchen for a moment? It was said as a question, but the demand was clear in his voice. The look on his face said it all as I walked by, careful to keep my distance from Xavier, as I made my way to the kitchen, cringing at the loud, angry footsteps of my father behind me. Dead. I'm as good as dead, and I can't think of anything to say to save myself. Okay, look, I know you're mad, but let me explain. What was that saying? The truth shall set ye free. I wonder if that applies here. Explain, you want to explain to me why you let one of those things into my house. Well, go right ahead, and maybe I'll let you out of your room before you're 40, but I doubt it. Bad, nothing good happens when he tries to control his temper. The last time it took me 3 days to clean up the mess he left in the kitchen. Dad, I'm sorry, but he was hurt and I couldn't just leave him on the back porch to die. Wait, did he say thing? What the hell does that mean? Ooh, maybe I should have kept that particular part to myself. The veins in his forehead and neck look like they are about to pop, and for once in my life I'm actually scared that my dad might hit me. You would have been doing the world a favor, damn it. You should have just let that thing die when you had the chance. He glares at me, stalking over to the fridge, pulling out a beer and downs it in one go. The scary part is my dad never drinks beer, never. The only reason we even have any is for when Granddad comes to visit. Why would say something like that? He's a human being, he deserves better than to bleed to death on someone's porch like an animal. His eyes flare when I say the word animal, the anger and disappointment in his gaze making me feel sick to my stomach. How could he be so uncaring? Xavier's a human being just like everyone else, even if Dad has something against the people he grew up around, or whatever his problem is, he deserves better than to be treated like some kind of disease-infested animal. Trust me, there's nothing human about that man, and I forbid you to see him again. Understand? Why? Because you don't like where he's from. Well, newsflash, he's got nowhere to go. I can't believe it. I mean, I expected my dad to be upset, but I never expected this. So, he's not staying here. I won't have that thing bringing you into whatever danger is stalking it. I am afraid, sir, that she may already be involved. The hunters that attacked my village were here asking if she knew where I was. I'm sure you are well aware that they would not have bothered to ask if they did not already know. It would do no good if I were to leave now, but I will not stay where I am not welcome. Then leave, your kind aren't welcome here. Dad pushes himself in front of me when Xavier's eyes land on me and I feel like crying at the haggard emotion on his face. Very well, sir, I shall take my leave, but I feel I should warn you. I will not allow anyone to harm your daughter, so I suggest next time you should get a handle on your anger before you frighten her more. What the hell? How the hell did he even know I was scared? He hadn't been in the room, had he? Don't threaten me, dog. I'm not the one you should be worried about hurting her. Now leave before you really piss me off. Hang on a second here. Does someone want to tell me what the hell you two are talking about, or do I have to guess? Neither of them look at me, both glaring at one another dangerously. Dad. Xavier. Terrific, now not only do I have to deal with one pissed off prick, I have to deal with two. Could my day get any worse? Chapter 5, The Supernatural. Will one of you tell me what the hell is going on? Again they ignore me, staring each other down, waiting for the other to back down. Minutes ticked by, hell maybe even hours, I don't know, and neither of them moved, ignoring my very presence in the room, and my anger increased with every minute. Fine. Be assholes about it, I'm going to Eva's. I stomp from the room, knowing my reaction is childish, but not really caring as I walk to the front door, cursing them both under my breath. Why do men always have to be so annoying? Is it like ingrained in their brains to be complete morons, or do they just learn it when they get older? I don't see what the big deal is about all of this, and my dad's reaction to Xavier being from the reservation just pisses me off even more. Arianna, wait, I squeak in surprise when his hand latches onto my arm, stopping me from slamming the front door in his face. Trying to jerk my arm from his grasp is futile, but I try anyway, glaring back at him when he chuckles at my failed attempts at freedom. The humor slowly falls from his expression, the seriousness in his eyes making me almost nervous. I believe there may be some things I should explain to you about myself. If your father is all right with that. Dad frowns angrily at Xavier's hand on my arm, obviously put out that I don't try harder to get away from him. But why would I want to move when it feels like I should stay right where I am? I don't like the two of you alone together. Just because you've sworn to protect my daughter does not mean I trust your kind. I don't want you showing her anything, explain it as simply as you can, then leave. Okay, now you're really starting to piss me off. What's going on? Why can't they just spit it out already? What could be so bad that they are trying to kill me with the suspense? It irks me that I want to know so badly, and that they just keep quiet every time I ask for answers. If they don't get to talking before I start going grey, then I'm going to hurt someone. It would be better if she saw for herself what I am, you know this yourself. It will be easier for me to protect the both of you if she understood the consequences of this situation. Hello, am I invisible or something? Is that what is? They just don't know I'm in the room. I will not hurt her, you have my word. I sigh dramatically, tugging my arm out of Xavier's grip, as they continue to stare at each other, ignoring me when I snap my fingers in their faces. Daddy, Trevor said he wanted to take me to the fall dance, and I think I might go with him. Dad absolutely hates Trevor. If there's one sure way for me to end up grounded, then it's bring up Trevor and date in the same sentence. But right now it's like they've both gone deaf. Hello. Did you hear me? Nothing, no reaction, no blinking, nothing. Assholes. Fine, I'll just go down to Main Street and start hooking the corners. What do you think of that? That's good, darling. Dad waves his hand through the air, as if excusing me from the room. What the hell is wrong with them? Fine, explain it to her, but if one hair on her head is harmed when she gets back, I'll hunt you like the animal you are, got it? Xavier gives a sad little smile. I would expect no less, sir. Come along, Arianna, We have a lot to discuss. He turns and walks down the steps, probably expecting me to follow along like a dutiful little dog. As soon as he realizes that I haven't moved from my spot, Xavier stops, turning back to me with an almost fearful expression on his face. Arianna, will you not join me for a walk? Before I can stop myself, I nod and start walking down the stairs, choosing to ignore the vulgar words coming from my dad's mouth behind us. I want her back in 2 hours. If she's not, I'm coming after you. You got me? Xavier nods, never once looking away from me as he speaks. Of course, sir. I will have her back before the 2 hours is up, I promise you. It's funny how I can't find it in me to deny him. The rueful smile on his face has me frowning as I accept the hand he's held out to me. I don't think I'm going to like whatever is coming. What was with that staring contest? It almost looked like they were having a silent conversation that they didn't want me overhearing, and of course that annoys me. I don't like surprises, and the fact that my dad is so willing to keep me in the dark about something he knows I want to know is irritating. Do you believe in the supernatural? He doesn't look at me as we walk down the drive, turning onto the road once his look to make sure no cars were coming. His question caught me off guard. I hadn't expected that one, and I don't really see how that applies to anything. And besides, what would it matter if I did or not? None of it's real anyway. You mean like vampires, werewolves, ghosts and stuff like that? He nods slowly, his thumb rubbing circular patterns on the back of my hand. Not really. I mean, it's just stuff Hollywood's made up in movies to make money, right? I'll admit, I like to imagine what it would be like if stuff like that was real, but that's only because the guys that play the werewolves and stuff are incredibly hot. He swallows tightly, a little laugh slipping past his lips. Not exactly. Arianna, what would say if I told you that I am a werewolf? He stops walking, staring me dead in the eye as I blink back at him in confusion. He wasn't serious, was he? Werewolves are real. They are just creatures people made up because they were bored or whatever, but they are not real. They can't be, can they? I would ask you how you escaped from the insane asylum. He didn't honestly believe he was a werewolf, did he? Damn, it's no wonder Dad started freaking out. He must have known Xavier was insane from just looking at him. All that damage must have seriously screwed up his brain or something. You're not serious, are you? You really think you're a werewolf? I should have known something was off about him. No one like him could be sane, there's just no way. He smiles at me. I do not think I am a werewolf, I know I am. How do you think I healed so quickly? He couldn't be serious, there's just no way. I shake my head slowly and pull my hand out of his, walking backwards back towards the house. If he's crazy enough to think he's a werewolf, then there's no telling what he'd do. You're joking, right? There's no way, Yuri, it's just not possible. You're delusional. Hurt flashes through his eyes at the snap in my voice and my stomach sinks. It shouldn't bother me to see the hurt in his eyes. He's completely insane. I shouldn't care, if he's hurt, that I'm not buying into his story. I can assure you that I am completely sane. I would not lie to you. He takes a step towards me and I step back, fear knotting in my chest. You are afraid of me and you do not even believe what I tell you. Did you honestly think I would? God, you've got to be insane. There's no such thing as werewolves. They are just magical creatures made up to scare little kids. There was no way he was serious, right? I mean, after all this time, if werewolves were in fact real, wouldn't the world know it already? How could something like that have been kept a secret, if it were true? It is good that you fear me, it is better that way, safer for you, but you need to know the truth so that I can protect you. Let me show you that I tell you no lies. If you wish for me to leave after you see the truth, I will go, but you need to know what I am. The desperation in his voice and eyes has me pausing as I turn to make a run for the house. What would be the harm in going with him now? I can just let him make a fool of himself, tell him to get lost and pretend like I never met him. He wouldn't try anything this close to the house, What's the harm in proving his delusions wrong? Fine, but make it quick. I need to get a handle on my nerves before Eva and Nessa show up and force me to go clubbing with them, like every other birthday. If I don't act like I hadn't let an insane stranger stay at my house last night, then they'll bug me until I spill the beans, and I don't feel like having them laugh at me all night. All right, will you come with me? I would rather we be farther from the road, but if you do not trust me, we can do it here. I swallow and nod towards the woods. There's no sense in him making a fool of himself in front of anyone that might drive by, right? Do not run from me, please. I will not be able to control myself if you do. I'm not promising anything. What if he tries to kill me or something? Would he really expect me to not move if he tried to hurt me? I'd have to be as crazy as he is to promise to stay in one spot. What the hell are you doing? His shirt, or rather Dad's shirt, falls to the ground by his feet as his hands move to snap of the jeans. Oh my God, what the hell is he doing? First he tells me that he thinks he's a werewolf, and now he's getting naked in front of me. The fact that I'm liking the opportunity to stare at his chest is completely besides the point, and so is the wave of desire I'm feeling. I am showing you what I am. The jeans pull around his feet, and my eyes go wide as a blush fills my cheeks. Hell, I really shouldn't be liking the view he just gave me, should I? He's just so big and God, I feel like pervert. I cover my eyes with my hand, resisting the urge to peek through my fingers as he chuckles. Terrific, the crazy man is laughing at me because I can't stop drooling over him. What the hell is wrong with me? Arianna, would you look at me? I peek from behind my hand, struggling to keep my eyes on his face as his entire body begins to tremble. His eyes go dark, the skin pulling taut over his cheekbones, and I can hear his bones cracking as the air begins to shimmer. What the hell is going on? He hunches over as a cry leaves his lips, and suddenly there's a giant black wolf standing in his spot. Oh my God, there's just no way that I'm seeing this. I have to be dreaming. That's the only way to explain it. This isn't real. Anytime now I'm going to wake up in my big comfy bed and realize this was all my imagination playing with me. Why don't I like the thought of this all being a dream? And why am I just standing here, staring as it moves around me, sniffing my hair as it gets closer? I should be screaming and running for my life, not standing here wide-eyed like I've just been given the greatest present ever. A shiver races up my spine as the air behind me shakes, and his breath blows across my ear. I told you it was no lie. If you enjoy these supernatural secrets, don't forget to subscribe to us. More exciting content is about to be revealed.